If you are new to Studio Blue online or to myself, my name's Dan. I'm one of the co-owners here at Studio Blue, and this is going to be a Pilates All Level class today. At any point, if something doesn't feel good, just know you do not have to do it. We don't want to push through bad pains, so lower back, neck, or joint things, anything like that. And if at any point you feel like you just need to lay here and breathe, just know that is 100% okay. So we can start either seated on your shins or cross-legged, just someplace that feels pretty comfortable, or you can start on your back. And wherever you are, just start to either close your eyes or soften your eyes. And start to find your breath. And initially, as you breathe, this doesn't have to be a Pilates breath or a yoga breath. You're just breathing. And as you breathe in, start to feel for your spine lengthening. And as you breathe out, start to gently feel your waistline drawing in. Inhaling, spine lengthens, ribs widen. And exhaling, ribs gently drawing in. So keep breathing like this. And as you inhale, notice if you feel any tension in your neck or your shoulders. And as you breathe in and find that length in your spine, see if you can ease into the shoulders and the jaw. And as you breathe out, as your waistline draws in, see if you can maintain that length you just created. Let's take one more big breath in. On your next inhale breath, keep your hands heavy wherever they may be. Lift the shoulders into the ears. Exhale, draw the shoulders down. And again, inhale to lift up. Exhale to lower. Inhale, lift. On your next exhale, draw the shoulder blades together and pull down the back of the ribs. So just starting to wake up the shoulder blades and some of the muscles that lie in between the shoulder blades. Take just a couple in reverse, inhaling, shoulders together and up. Exhaling forward and down. The last breath. And let your shoulders be easy. Take your left hand to the floor, right arm goes up and over for a gentle side bend. Try to keep some weight in your right hip. You can look to the ground. Allow your top arm to roll slightly forward into your peripheral vision. And then on a breath, come up, right arm down, left arm up. Just gentle side bend. So you can look to your left, eyes coming towards the floor, top arm rotating in slightly, and left hip bone pretty heavy to the floor. And coming back up, just one more on each side at your own time and your own pace. And as you hold into this side stretch, try to direct your breath into the side of the lung, into the side of the ribs. Bringing it back, and just ending to your last side. And coming back to center. Make your way down onto your back if you are seated. Knees bent, feet flat. And allow your arms to rest by your side. Your feet can be about 2 fist distance apart. As you exhale, curl your tailbone, allow your lower back to flatten. Try to relax your glutes. Inhale, open the pelvis to neutral, creating a little bit of space underneath your lower spine. And just 2 more like this. Exhale, curling the tail, relax the head and the jaw. And then inhaling to open the pelvis towards neutral. And on that next one, curl the tail, press into your feet, roll the hips up one vertebra at a time. I want you to imagine that the knees are stretching forwards, the heels are pressing down gently and pulling towards you. Pausing at the top and just checking in, knees, hips, and shoulders are one pretty long line. Your arms are firmly pressing into the floor. As you exhale, slowly roll it down, upper spine, middle spine. And then as you get to the base of the ribs in your lower back, see if there's a way you can use your abdominals to help roll through those vertebrae. Pelvis opens towards neutral, so there's a little bit of a natural curve. And again, curl the tail at your own time and at your own pace, slowly roll up. At the top, start to feel the back of the glutes engaging, the hips are opening. Inhale. And exhale again, roll it down. And if you run out of breath, it's okay, just continue to breathe. And again, curling, rolling up. The next time that you come up to the top of your bridge, let's hold at the top. We're gonna take the arms up towards the sky, turn the palms to face one another. Feel that the back of the shoulders are pretty heavy to the ground. Spread the fingers, inhale, open the arms out to a T. Arms might touch the ground, they might not. Just go to wherever feels comfortable in your shoulders. Exhale, pull the arms back up. So just a couple like this. The hips are lifted, we inhale, stretch the chest and the arms and the shoulders open. And then exhale, pull back in without rolling the shoulders forward. Just two more. Inhale, open. Exhale in. Last one, inhale, open. Exhale, pull in. And then this time as you roll down, start to stretch your arms over your head. Good. And as they reach over, try not to allow the ribs to pop. So notice if you're here, try to draw the rib cage in, straighten through the arms. Clasp the hands together behind the back of the head. Nod the chin a little bit, and as you exhale, curl the chest up. Right? As you inhale, lower down. So checking in that your tailbone is still pretty heavy. And your lower back might be neutral. There might be that little bit of a natural curve, or you might be a little bit more on the flatter side, really wherever you feel more natural, wherever your hips and your back muscles can relax. As you curl up, try to keep the elbows a little bit wide. So not all the way out, not all the way in, just somewhere in the middle. And start to really use your breath. So using your exhale to help draw the front of the ribs down so you're finding your lower abdominals and your obliques. The next time that you curl up, pause at the top. Take your right hand, and if you take your thumb to your breastbone, I want you to hold there. Your left hand is still supporting your head, so your neck is relaxed. Take an inhale breath with me. Exhale, curl up a little higher right from where your thumb is, trying to drop the breastbone down, and then inhale, lower back just 2 to 3 inches. Exhale, curl, the ribs are dropping down, and that's what's lifting your head up. Inhale, lower. Last two, hand can always come back to the head now at any point. Try to relax your gluteals. Last one, hold at the top. Exhale your left arm past your right thigh, keeping the shoulders open. Stay lifted as you come to center. Exhale, right hand reaches past your left thigh. Inhale, center. So as you're reaching, you're starting to find just a fairly small twist in your upper body. Exhaling to reach, twist. Starting to feel the sides of the waistline. Exhale, reach, twist. And then eventually ending with your right arm reaching to the left. Then we'll come all the way back down through center. Now your arms can rest by your side or hands are still together behind the head. We're gonna let the elbows open so the chest gets a stretch. The feet might have to walk back towards your tailbone just slightly. Curl the tail, roll the hips up slowly into a bridge. Now again, if your shoulders don't feel comfortable here, just take your arms down by your side, A-okay. Inhale at the top of that bridge, exhale, start to roll down, upper back, middle back, Once you come into the low back, nod your chin. Your pelvis opens to neutral as we curl the chest up. Take an inhale. Exhale, curl your tailbone under first. All right, use your abdominals. Now the hips start to lift, your head goes down, your elbows open, and then at the top of the bridge, the glutes turn on, and the chest, the thighs, and the hip muscles are opening. As you exhale, roll it down, upper back, middle back. As you come down towards the base of the ribs, start to lift the chest. You articulate through your lower back. We curl up, take an inhale. Exhale, curl your tail first, so your lower abs are meeting your middle abs. And then as your hips go up, that is going to naturally send your upper body down. Open the elbows, lifting the hips, press firmly into the feet. Keep the ribs softening. And this next one will exhale, curl and roll down. Halfway down, nod the chin, curl up. Reach both arms forward as the pelvis opens to neutral. Ease the shoulders out of the ears. The arms are parallel to the floor. Exhale, arms reach up slowly, hands behind the head, and then we'll lower the chest and the head down. Take an inhale at the bottom. Exhale, nod the chin, curl the chest up. Keep breathing as you reach your arms. Take a breath in. Exhale, stay lifted in your chest as your hands come to your head. And then on your next breath, lower the chest and the head down. So it's that transitional moment when your arms reach that you should really feel the abs. We'll exhale, curl up. Keep breathing out as your arms stretch forward. Take an inhale. Exhale, hands to the back of the head, stay lifted, and then lower the chest and the head back down. Rest your arms by your side. Good. Once your arms are down by your side, the feet might have to walk back towards you. We'll curl the tail and roll back up into a bridge. So now the palms are anchoring down, the feet are anchoring down. Put some weight into your left foot. As you exhale, you can float your right heel, or that whole right leg can float up to tabletop. So now my standing leg, my left leg, my thigh, my glute, my hamstrings, everything has to turn on to hold me here. Lower that leg down, feel weight in the right leg. Now your left heel, or that whole left leg can float up, tabletop. All right, feel right glute, hamstring, left waistline. Lower that leg down, feel weight, and then exhale, alternate. Inhale to lower, exhale to alternate. And at any point, if you're not sure what your hips are doing, you can always take your hands onto your hips just to make sure that one isn't dropping down, so there's no rotation. The rib line is in, so your core is still working here. All that core work we did in the beginning, it's helping to keep us supported. Now you can stay here, or the next time that right leg floats up, hold there. You can stay on this side, inhaling to tap the toe, exhaling to lift up. So it's an inhale to tap, waistline still in, exhale to lift. So if you're on this one leg with me, you should really start to feel some heat building into your left glutes, gluteals, and your hamstrings. Keep your waistline in. If you notice your back, especially your lower back starting to tense, you can also drop your hips a little bit closer to the floor, which might ease some of that tension. Last two. And on the last one, lower that foot down, hold. So we're all meeting with both feet on the ground. If you're still marching, you can start to march it back out. If you're going one leg, that left leg floats up. We inhale to tap that toe down. Exhale to lift. Again, you might have to take your hands onto your hips just to make a note. Are my hips even? One side will definitely feel different than the other. Check that the standing knee isn't bowing out. The shoulders are softening out of the ears. Last three like this, if you're on that one leg. Waistline's in, standing glute should be starting to get a little fatigued. Next time you lower, pause. Both feet are heavy into the ground. Press the arms down, press the toes down, lift the hips a little higher. Exhale, roll down slowly, upper back, middle back, lower back, nod the chin, curl up. Use the length of your arms to help lift your chest. Hands behind the head, stay lifted. Now your pelvis can still be fairly neutral on this. As you exhale, you're gonna float the right leg tabletop, keeping your tailbone heavy and weight in your left foot. We inhale to lower, and then weight in my right leg, my left leg floats up tabletop. Inhale, lower. All right, so this is no longer about the glutes and the hamstrings. You should start to feel your abdominals. So obliques helping to draw the ribs down, deep low pelvic floor. Try to relax the head. One more each side. Keep curling into the upper back. Shoulder blades just barely off the floor. And once you finish that left side, we'll lower the head and the chest down to the ground. Option, you can keep your feet on the ground or just a little bit of an imprint or softening of the back to the floor. The legs float up. One at a time, tabletop. If your legs floated up and you just felt a big arc in your back, see if you can draw the ribs and the abs back in. As we exhale, we're gonna curl the chest up. Eyes are looking somewhere over the knees. On your next breath out, right heel or toe taps towards the floor. We inhale it up. Exhale the tap. So you really want to use your breath on this. So as you breathe out, you feel the waistline drawing in. And depending on where you're at today, if your abs are pretty sore or your hips are on the tighter side today, you might only go down maybe halfway. All right, you might reach your arms forward to help keep your chest lifted. Or you might grab on to whatever thigh is still lifted for a little bit of extra help. All right, if we can stay off of those shoulder blades, it's gonna help ease tension in the neck. So just end to your left side whenever you get there. And then eventually lower everything down to the ground, hugging the shins in towards your chest. You can take a little roll from side to side. So again, feel that your tailbone is heavy, your waistline's drawing in, and as you exhale, you're gonna try to reach your fingertips and your toes to the sky, softening the shoulders, and then inhale, grab onto those shins. So keep going with that, exhaling to reach, fingers and toes to the sky, and then inhaling back to center. Nice. So it's a double leg stretch prep. Exhaling to reach up. Waistline draws in, inhaling to bend. Now adding on, you can reach the limbs a little further away and back. And your body is gonna tell you how far you can go today. So if you start to reach your legs really close, really kind of far away from you and towards the floor, and you feel like you lose your abdominal connection, just start to reach your legs a little bit higher. And then adding on, we can lift the head and the chest, so we're off the shoulder blades. And then exhale, reaching, keeping the chest lifted, we sweep around. Exhale, reach. And again, you can always peel back to that first option. Waistline in, use your breath. Last one. Nice, hugging the shins, lowering the head down to the ground, and then lowering one foot at a time to the ground, and then lengthening them down towards the floor. Toes are pointed, thighs hug in. You might just kind of shake out the legs a little bit. Try to relax your thighs and your hips. Arms to the sky to start. Now keep your toes pointed, your thighs hugging. And see, as your arms go back this first time, just let your hands touch the floor and notice how your ribs kind of want to pop up. And there's a good amount of space under your lower back, right? So bring your arms back to the sky. Soften the ribs down so the rib cage is really heavy. And see how far can you bring your arms back before your ribs want to start to pop. And that's going to be how far you go back in your roll down today. As you inhale, lift your arms, your head, your chest, look forward, exhale, slowly, slowly, slowly start to roll up. Take a small stretch forward, like you're stretching over a big fitness ball, And again, curl the tail. Start with the pelvis. Keep the feet heavy. If the knees need to bend a little bit, that's totally okay. Arms reaching overhead. Right, we lift the arms, the head, the chest. We curl up and through. Stretch forward. All right, so keep going with this. If you have a towel and it feels better to have a little bit of a towel or pillow under your lower back, you can use that. Just make sure it's not super thick. Maybe at the most it's like 2 inches. Another option on this is you can have the knees bent. You can start at the top and roll down halfway, hold, and then you can roll forward and restack. So we don't have to necessarily come all the way down on this. Right? Controlling the arms, lifting, rolling up and through, stretching forward, relaxing the head. Now, the next time that we're seated, let's all just pause at the top. No rush to get there. And then once we're there, curl the tail. Keep your legs, the heels reaching down into the ground and forward. Your waistline's drawing up and in and back, and you're gonna roll down maybe about 1/4 of the way. Ease into the shoulders, right? The lower back has a natural curve to it. The legs are kind of relaxed, the front of the thighs anyways. And as you exhale, see if you can bring your right arm towards the sky without letting this happen, without popping the chest. Inhale, lower. Exhale, left arm lifts. Right, it doesn't matter so high, but as this weight is reaching away from the midline of your body, the midline of your body has to work a little bit harder to keep your ribs, your spine, and your pelvis in the same position. Right, so every time you exhale, use that breath to help stabilize the ribs. Now, if this is feeling okay, maybe try both arms. Inhaling to lower. Exhaling to lift. Inhale to lower. Exhale up. And then the next time that your arm or arms go up, let's hold. Soften the shoulders and the jaw. Exhale, slowly roll down for 5, 4, 3, 2. Arms all the way overhead on one, and now just let your ribs pop, let your legs roll out a little. You can stretch your toes away from you, stretch your arms away from you. And then walk the feet in, imprint the lower spine, float the legs up through tabletop one at a time. Grab the back of the thighs, lengthen them up to the sky again. Point your toes. Now you're gonna hold on just below your right knee. You're gonna draw that right leg in. Your waistline's drawing down. You're gonna take your left heel to the floor. Now press the heel down, and if your thigh muscle or your hip is tight, the knee's gonna have to bend a little, that's fine. Keep your waistline in, keep gently drawing the right leg towards you, and then inhale, the left leg comes up, exhale the right leg down. Take that moment of pause. Check that your hips are still square, your waistline's still in, right leg lifts, and we switch. Right, now this can also be toe taps, so we can peel back to any abdominal work that we've already done if that feels better on your body this morning. Now, if this feels okay, the next time that the right leg is lifted, we can hold, we can lift the chest up, hands can stay where they're at, or they can stretch a little higher. And again, exhaling, left leg up, the right leg comes down, waistline stays in. Exhaling to switch. Just make sure if your chest and your head are lifted that you're just barely off of the shoulder blades. Stretching the hamstrings as the leg comes in, working through the abdominals. Roll out any tension in your jaw or your neck. Ending with the left leg up, right leg down, and then you're gonna bend that left leg in towards your body and lower the head. So for a moment, just kind of, you can stir that left leg around, keeping the pelvis heavy. Right? Just bring some kind of good, healthy compression into the joint. And then on an inhale breath, you can take that left leg over the body, open the left arm. Just a really gentle spine twist. And we're not forcing the twist, we're just encouraging it. Breathing in through nose, out through mouth. And then as you exhale, circling that leg down to the ground, hugging the right leg into your chest to start. Left leg is still reaching away from you. And then just taking a couple stirs, so just kind of stirring that right leg around in the joint. Try to keep the pelvis fairly still and stable. And then eventually drawing that right leg over the body, open the right arm out to the side. And feel some weight in this right arm. Now, does your shoulder have to be completely on the ground? No. But just feel that the shoulder and the ribs are rotating to the floor while the pelvis is rotating towards the sky. And as you breathe, try to breathe some length in the right waistline. So everything in between the pelvis and the rib cage. As you exhale, come back to center. Sweep your arms behind you, toes pointed, thighs together. Right? Make sure the ribs aren't popped. They're in. We inhale, lift the arms, the head, the chest. Look forward as you exhale slowly. Round forward. And then restack sitting tall. Hands are going to come behind you. So if you're on a really squishy mat, you can always move on to a little bit of a harder surface, wherever you may be. Your fingers are going to point towards your toes, and we're just going to open the chest here for a moment. So just notice if your shoulders are slumped forward and lifting into your ears, can you lift your heart and roll the shoulders back? Imagine there was a little ball in between the elbows that you're gently hugging. Make sure the arms aren't locked out. And again, just kind of notice what it feels like to slump. And then roll the shoulders back, open the chest. Maybe try reaching your fingers out to the side. Just see what that feels like. So chest is opening, we're pressing into the arms. Now you can stay here, or as you exhale, start to press into the feet, lift the hips. Your hands can be pointing out to the side like me. Eyes to the sky, lower the hips. Or more classically, your fingers can still be pointing towards your feet. So we're leaning back slightly, pressing through the feet, lifting the hips, looking up. And there's no right or wrong on this. It's just whatever feels better in your body today. So I'm going to go fingers out because I haven't done this version in a while. And as I lift my hips, I'm thinking of that bridge that we did in the beginning of class. So my hamstrings are on, my glutes are on, my chest is opening, and the whole back line of my body is working. Now, if this exercise, if you're like, nope, not today, not feeling it, you can always come back into the bridge. You're still going to open up the front of your body, and we're still going to be working the back of the body. The next time you lift, let's hold. Make sure that the ribs aren't popping or flaring. The shoulders are softening out of the ears. Your arms are working. Your armpit muscles are working. Press into the feet. Maybe lift just a little higher through your glutes, and then slowly lower the hips down and take your feet just outside your mat. And then your hands can come, they can come somewhere either to the top of the knees or the bottom of the knees. And just kind of notice what it feels like to slump here for a moment. Feels kind of nice. Flex your feet. Toes reach up. Now, see if you can lift up through your waist. Now, if your hamstrings or your hips are pretty tight, you might have to sit on a pillow or fold your mat to help kind of get you out of the hips. Now we're sitting tall, roll the shoulders up and back. And imagine literally the crown of your head could lift up to the top of your ceiling, and then your sit bones could root down into the earth. As you exhale, nod your chin, slowly start to stretch your hands towards your feet. So the goal on this is a spine stretch. You're probably going to feel a hamstring stretch as well. But the goal is the spine articulating forward. And then as you exhale, you're going to rebuild back up, low back, middle back, upper back. Let your head truly come up last. Check in with your feet. Are they still flexed? Nod the chin, roll forward, lift through your waistline. Yep, hands reaching towards your feet. Maybe they touch, maybe they don't. It's all good. As you exhale, build back up. Sit bones, pelvic floor is lifting. Back extensors and abdominals are working together. Roll the shoulders out of the ears. Maybe lift your arms and reach your thumbs back in space. Lower the arms, nod the chin, stretch forward. One more. Inhaling at the bottom, exhale, softening the shoulders. Build back up. Restack the spine. Maybe the arms lift, thumbs reach back. See if you can feel the back of the shoulder blade. Easing into the neck, we can take the hands together behind the head or across the shoulders. As you exhale, we're gonna twist the upper body to the right. Now, root down through that left sit bone, lengthen through the neck. Inhale to center. Exhale, we twist to the left. Inhale through center. Exhale to twist. So I want you to feel that your obliques are working to help twist your ribs, but you also have all these little muscles in your spine that help rotate your spine, right? And if your spine can rotate really well, it's functionally going to be able to extend. If we lose rotation, we start to lose the ability to extend our upper back, our thoracic spine. Last one to the left. We'll come to center now. Hands can either be at the chest or the head. We'll nod the chin, spine stretch forward, controlling it. And then eventually your hands can grab your ankles, maybe your feet, right? And you can take a little bit more of a stretch into the hamstrings now. We're still not collapsing forward, the waistline's still lifted. And then on your next breath, restack. Sitting tall, we're gonna turn to face me, right? Doesn't matter what side you're on, right? If you need some water, grab some water. Okie doke. So we're coming down onto our side, and we're gonna take our bottom leg forward. So the bottom shin is about in line with the front edge of the mat. The knee and the hip are about 90 degrees. Your bottom arm is long, and your top leg is gonna go out long as well, right? So your shoulders and your hips are stacked, your waistline is drawing in. You wanna make sure you're not overly rounded, you're also not overly arched, right? And there's this sense of lift through your bottom waistline. Top hand forward, we're gonna exhale, flex the foot, and lift the top leg just about hip height. And if you touch into this outer glute area, I want you to feel some tone, some work there. Now top hand can stay in front. We're gonna inhale, draw that leg forward in space. Only so far that you don't start to round. Point your foot and start to draw back in space. So you're opening the hip, waistline's drawing in, flex and draw forward. All right, now if this doesn't feel good, so Jen, if you're watching, you can go onto hands and knees and do single leg reaches. All right, clams are also another option here. You'll know who you are if this doesn't feel good in the hip joint. All right, so now as the leg is going forward and back, this outer glute has to keep your leg up. As you reach forward, the waistline's drawing in, the hamstring stretching, and as you reach back, the center of the glute starts to turn on. So you're gonna feel some different work at the back. Now, the next time that you reach back, hold. So you can stay with what we were just doing, or top hand to the head. This is a Wendy move. The ribs are still in. As my top leg reaches back, I'm gonna allow my upper body to roll slightly forward. And then I'm gonna flex my foot, my top leg goes forward, and I'm just gonna allow my upper spine to rotate back a little bit. So I'm coming to center, point, top leg back, upper body forward, flex, top leg forward, upper spine rotates back. And just one more like this, reaching back, opening the hip and the thigh, thoracic spine, upper spine coming forward. Last one, top leg reaches towards me, chest opens, and then bring it back to center, right? Top arm can reach overhead if you want more challenge. Ribs are in. The foot is pointed now, and we're gonna let that leg drop down. It's gonna circle forward, up, around, and back. So because we don't have this top arm in front for balance, your circle might be a little bit smaller. That's okay. But I want you to feel that your core, right, the front and the back of your body has to work to keep you balanced. If your hands are touching, see if you can separate them. Imagine you're holding on to like a big ball of energy. Shoulders are softening out of the ears. And then reverse those circles. Back, up, forward. The waistline's naturally kind of doing its thing. It's reacting to where your leg is going. Those outer hip rotators and gluteal muscles having to work here. Last two. And last one. Bringing it to center and then bending everything in. We're gonna come up onto our bottom forearm. So just notice where your bottom elbow is. And it can start just a teeny bit away from your shoulder. So when you start to lift your ribs and press down, the elbow is just about underneath that shoulder joint. Now, palm can be down for more work. Your palm can go up. Stay here, or adding on, you can lift your hips. So long line from your toe to your pubic bone. Top arm can always lift to the sky. Now, if you want to add on a little bit more, your top leg, the toes are pointed. They're a little forward of the body. They're on the ground. Your bottom leg can sweep. We scissor the thighs together. So the full forearm side plank. And if at any point you want to peel back, totally okay. Make sure you're not sinking down, but use your outer glutes to lift. Use your lower waistline. Maybe the eyes look to the floor. Maybe the top leg lifts and we hold for 5, 4, 3, 2. Lower everything down on 1. Bend your knees, right? And then we're going to transition over to the other side. So whatever side that is, just switch sides, still facing me. And then your bottom arm can go long. Your top leg, knee is about 90 degrees. Your shin is parallel to the front edge of the mat. It might look a little off because I'm angled. Your top leg is reaching long. So your head can rest here. Ribs softening. We'll flex the foot and lift the leg about hip height. All right, make sure you're not overly rounded or arced. We'll inhale, lower that leg down, and exhale to lift. All right, so if you chose to go on hands and knees, you can switch sides. A-okay. Making sure that the hips are square as you lift. So that outer glute is working. The ribs are softening in. Keep going. And keep breathing. Working through the outer glute, the hip rotators, and our joint mobility. Ribs are still in. Last two like this. And last one. Lowering down to about hip height, we'll keep the foot flexed. We're going to inhale that leg forward and just see how far can it go before your body wants to start to round. Point the foot, start to reach back. So as you reach back, allow your hip to open. Make sure you're not over arcing your lower back. Flex the foot, draw the leg forward. So this outer glute's still working. We point, reach back. Waistline's just going to gently in, not forcing anything. And again, point back, flex forward. Point back. We'll give you some options to add on here in a moment. Flex forward, keeping your waistline long. Point back. If you want to add on, top hand to the back of the head. And as your leg reaches behind you, you can allow your upper spine to rotate slightly forward. You'll come back to center, flex the foot. As your leg goes forward, we can open the chest slightly behind us, keeping the head supported. So I'm reaching back, upper spine rotating forward. And then I flex as the top leg goes forward. I'm rotating the upper spine back. And just a couple more like this. Last one with the leg going forward, upper spine reaching back. And then we're gonna meet at center, pointing the foot. The top arm can reach overhead. The ribs are still just heavy. We're gonna start to circle that leg back, up, forward, and down. And again, this doesn't have to be a very big circle. You want to see how far can you go before your body starts to do this, right? So your core, everything from your hips to your shoulders, side to side, front to back, that all has to work here to help stabilize the movement of this top leg. Again, doesn't matter how big, right? Top arm can always come down if you want a little bit more support today. If it's overhead, make sure the hands are separated. Reverse your circles, forward, up, around, and back. If you're starting to speed up the motion, see if you can slow it down. And checking that the hips aren't moving. The leg is staying parallel, last two. And last one. We'll come back to center. We're gonna prop ourselves up onto that bottom forearm. Elbow under shoulder. Lift up through the bottom waistline. So you feel some work underneath your lats and your obliques, right? This underside. Shoulders on, palm either up or down. Hips can lift to add on. Maybe the top arm lifts. Top leg can come forward, toes pointed. Bottom leg can reach back. And so a lot of different options here, starting from your foundation, you can build it up. Maybe flexing the top leg, lifting. So now both glutes are working, really the whole body, side to side, front to back, holding for two. On one, let everything lower down, and we're gonna turn onto our belly. Now, you can allow your forehead to touch the floor, or you can hover your nose just an inch off the ground. I'm gonna hover just so the mic doesn't cut out. The feet are gonna go about shoulder distance, and just kind of wiggle at the hips a little bit. Good. Find the place that feels neutral, so you don't feel like one hip is touching the ground more than the other. Lift up through your lower waistline, anchor the pubic bone, and reach your arms out to the side. And this is where if you had a pillow or a towel, you could also place that pillow underneath your head if that feels more comfortable in your neck. Now all we're gonna do is let your shoulders lift into your ears, and then roll your shoulders back. And as you exhale, try to keep your head where it is and lift one arm. So as one arm goes up, feel the shoulder blade draw in, lower that arm down, keep the hips anchored, exhale, opposite arm lifts, allow the shoulder blade to draw in, and then as the arm goes down, let that shoulder blade widen. So keep alternating. And you want to think of your waistline doing quite a bit of work here. So the pubic bone is anchored, your waistline has to lift before your arm lifts. So you have some support for the spine. Now, if this is feeling okay, the shoulders are just easy out of the ears, the waistline's in, you can try lifting both arms. Now, my nose is still just either floating an inch off the ground or my forehead is on the floor. I inhale lower. So my upper back isn't really too extended, right? As your arm or arms are lifting, really focus on the shoulder blade, the scapular movement. So getting the bottom tips, the middle tips of the shoulder blades to move together without the upper neck reacting too much. Last one, if you're doing each side, just finish off to your left, both sides, just let both arms come down and just lower your head to one side. You can take your arms towards your feet and turn your palms up. Let your shoulders spill forward, again, wiggle at the hips. Find that place that feels neutral, float your nose an inch off the ground, and then reach your fingertips back towards your feet and feel that your arms are reaching so far back that your upper spine starts to peel up. So my lower back isn't really changing too much. My upper spine is lengthening out and lifting gently. My shoulders, they're just easy. Try not to overly force the armpits down. And then let everything come down. Shoulders spill forward. And then allow the shoulders to roll back. Peel the chest up and open. Reach out through the crown of the head. Now for this one, if you don't feel your upper back, coming down lower and then focusing on that length through the top of your breastbone, you might feel more work in your upper back. So higher isn't necessarily better. Lower down. And just one more, peeling up. Right, watching the height on this. So my friend Monica in Selwood, make sure you don't go too high on this. Keep those lower ribs engaged. Now, if this is feeling okay, maybe the legs lift. So the glutes are on, but they're not gripped. The shoulders are rolling back if you're craving a little chest opener. Hands together, knuckles towards the feet, so the shoulders and the chest open. Take 3 breaths. 2. And on 1, lower everything down, push back, child's pose. Toes together, knees open. Arms stretch out in front of you. So the back muscles, the spinal extensors get a nice stretch. Head can be heavy to the floor, or again, if it feels more comfortable on a pillow, you can grab that pillow. Walk the arms over to one side, stretching long, and breathing into the side of the waist. And then arms over to the other side. And then bringing it back to center. We'll rise up to the hands and knees. And then just make your way towards the top edge of the mat so you have some room for your feet behind you. Spread the fingers, hands under shoulders, knees under hips, and just allow your shoulders to collapse kind of in and up. Just notice what that feels like. And then firmly press down and widen your upper back. Keep that width. Tuck your toes under, keep the waistline long, and then you can hover the knees off the ground just a couple inches, keeping your upper back wide, and then lower those knees back down. So shoulder blades wide, abs in, knees can lift, hold, and then knees can lower. Now, if this doesn't feel good on your toes, you can come into a regular plank with your knees down, or if you have a foam roller or a fitness ball at home, you can take your legs up onto that foam roller or fitness ball. Make sure the head isn't overly collapsing down, but there's a sense of lengthening through the top of the head. The next time you lift, hold. If you want to add on, the knees are just hovering off the ground. I'm going to stabilize through my left leg. So the back of my left hamstrings have to kick in. My right leg reaches out like I'm going into plank. I bring that leg back, and then my left leg reaches out like I'm going into plank. Bring it in, exhale, switch. Bring it in, exhale, switch. So again, these are all ways to level up. Make sure you're not collapsing, but you're lifted, hips in line with shoulders. Good. The next time your left leg reaches back, bend it in, push back child's pose. Knees can be together now or apart. Take a full breath. And then we're going to rise up onto the forearms. So still at the top edge of the mat, we can grab our upper biceps, measuring the elbow distance, and then hands come forward. Shoulders are out of ears. They're directly underneath our shoulder joint. The elbows are rather. The knees come in about 1 hand distance apart. And as you exhale, you're going to reach your right leg out and up and just hold. Arms pressing down, shoulder blades wide. Let your head relax. So the neck is in line with the upper spine. Lower that leg down. Exhale, switch. So opposite leg, left leg reaching back. Waistline in, lower down. And just alternating from side to side. So forearms, they're hugging in. You're pushing them down. You're lifting up through your waistline. Whatever leg is still on the ground, you want to think of some weight through that shin. And even through the top of the foot. Make sure your foot isn't overly turned in or turned out. Now, the next time that your right leg lifts, I want you to keep it lifted. Now, at any point, you can always come up onto the hands if this doesn't feel too good in the body. But I want you to push some weight down into your right forearm and then see if you can walk your left arm, your left fingertips out to the side. And then maybe lift the left arm, rolling the shoulder out of the ear. Waistline's drawing in. Let your head relax. We're just holding and balancing for 5. Maybe close your eyes if you want more challenge. 4, 3, 2. Lower the left arm if it was lifted. Reach the left leg out. Hold. Hips are square, right? So make sure you're not overly rotated, you're not swaying, shoulders are down. Maybe the right arm reaches out to the side, right? You can stay here. Or keeping that left forearm heavy, maybe the right arm lifts. So the waistline's still coming in, shoulders rolling out of the ears, the neck is long. All right, option, you can always close your eyes. And lower everything down. Come up onto the hands, round your spine like a cat. Curling the tail, relax your glutes, relax your butt muscles. Let your head be heavy, maybe roll it out, shoulder blades are wide. Now start to lift your tailbone first. Articulate through your lower spine, middle spine. Feel your heart pulling down to the ground and forward. Open the chest, eyes can come slightly forward, or if you want to work into finding your full neck extension, you can look forward and up. And then drop your chin first, just see how far will it go. So find your full neck flexion and then round upper spine. So shoulder blades widen, middle spine, lower spine, curl the tail, press through the hands, especially the pinky side. And then open the chest towards neutral. Take one leg at a time back into full plank. So you're not overly rounded, you're not overly extended. Option, you can come onto the forearms, you can come down to the knees. Keep pressing through the hands. So there's this energy of your hands and your feet pushing down, and then your waistline's lifting up. Feel your thigh muscles are on, your glute muscles are on. Inner elbows facing one another. My hypermobile people out there, can you bend your elbows just enough to feel your biceps kick in? One more full breath. And then slowly lower the knees and push back, child's pose. And then restack sitting tall. Okay. So once you've restacked, turn to face me. And you can come down to comfortable seats. So if you had a pillow before, you can sit on that pillow. You can be on your shins or cross-legged. You're gonna turn your palms to face up, and you're gonna stretch your left arm out in front of you. Your right arm reaches underneath, and you're gonna grab onto the base of your thumb, spread the fingers, and very gently open the palm towards me. Try to roll the shoulders out of the ears. So this is a wrist release. It's gonna come up into the forearm and eventually kind of help release neck tension if you have any. We'll inhale to let that go. Grab the root of the pointer finger, and then your right thumb can help leverage the palm open. And this isn't necessarily a Pilates move. This is a forest yoga move. If you've ever taken Angelina Vasili's class, this is something she taught me many, many moons ago. So just keep articulating through each finger, right? And you're not going any place that feels really painful. It should just kind of feel like a nice stretch for the palm, the wrist. Really good if you've been on the computer a lot lately. Shake out that hand, we'll switch. So your right arm is reaching out, your left arm comes underneath. You wanna grab the root of the thumb, just very gently spread the fingers. So again, if you haven't done this before, just be kind. Inhale, let that go. Grab the root of your pointer fingers, spread the fingers. You can use your left thumb at the base of your wrist to help give you a little bit of leverage. Right, relaxing the shoulders. This is also really nice if you have done a lot of down dogs or planks or bicep curls, things like that. Make sure you're breathing. And then once you finish that right arm, just shake it out. Right, now make sure you're not gonna hit anything or anyone. Your elbows are in by your side, your fingers are spread. You're gonna press the imaginary walls away, or if there is walls, press them away, roll the shoulders out of the ears. And then you're gonna roll through your pinky, ring, middle, pointer, thumb, draw the knuckles down. So now this kind of top part of the wrist should be getting a stretch. Let the arms rest. And again, bend, push the walls out, shrug the shoulders out of the ears, roll through pinky, ring, middle pointer, thumb. So it should kind of look like you're doing kind of creepy fingers. Knuckles draw down, top of the wrist opens, and then let the arms relax. And then the last wrist stretch, you're gonna have your palms forward, your thumbs go in first, fingers draw around the thumbs, and then the knuckles reach down. So it's now the side of the wrist that's getting a stretch. And notice if one side feels different, especially your mouse hand, or if you only text with one hand. And then relax. One more time. The arms reach out, palms towards me, thumbs in, fingers wrap around the thumbs, knuckles draw down. All right, check in with your posture. You're still sitting tall, your shoulders are relaxing. And relax the arms down. Now your hands can come into your lap, your palms can be down or up. You can come onto your back and come into more of a resting pose, whatever feels more comfortable. All right, if you're still seated, just switch the leg that's in front. It might feel a little different. And then close your eyes. And if closing your eyes doesn't feel comfortable, of course, you can keep them open. But I want you to come back to that breath that we started with. And as you breathe in and breathe out, has anything shifted or changed? As you breathe in, does your chest open? Is your heart able to open? Is there a different sense of length through your spine? As you breathe out, do you feel more connected to your ribs and your core? And remembering that one of the best things about our breath, besides nourishing our cells with oxygen, our breath can help relax our nervous system. So I want you to take a breath in through your nose with me and out through an open mouth. And again, in through your nose. Allow your belly and your ribs to expand. And then one more breath, inhale through the nose, getting a little bit taller through the spine. And then letting it out. Thank you very much for practicing with me today. It's been so fun getting to connect.